What kind of beer would Hank Hill make? Well, spoiler alert, in season 14, Hank and Bobby decide to brew beers and compete for who makes the best beer. There aren't a lot of clues in the episode as to what kind of beer Hank is making, but what we do know is that it is described as being similar to Alamo beer, which we are pretty sure is a pilsner style beer. Now that said, Hank is able to make his beer really fast, and so he's definitely not doing a traditional lager, which makes me think that Hank is probably making an American Pale Ale. But what we also see is Hank dumps a ton of hops into his beer. And so I'm going to over-hop an American Pale Ale, and it felt like the right hop for this needed to be Amarillo, because Texas. You've seen us make an American Pale Ale on our social media quite a few times. It's a very simple beer to make, and it's an easy drink in 1 gallon, but I'm also going to be throwing an ounce of Amarillo hops in with this recipe to make Hank's beer. So our specialty grains go into steep for a half an hour, and afterward we start bringing that up to a boil and add our dry malt extract. These are the fermentable sugars that turn this grain water into the precursor for beer. And as soon as that comes up to a boil, we add our bittering charge. And then 58 minutes later, we add our aroma hops. And then at flame out, we're going to add that extra 1 ounce of Amarillo hops. And then we'll get that covered and into an ice bath to chill. About a half an hour later, it's chilled down so we can get it into our clean and sanitized carboy. I'm using a filter funnel to filter out as much of the hops debris as I can. And then we'll make sure that's topped up to the 1 gallon mark with some filtered water. Our ale yeast goes right on in. And then we'll get our airlock on and let it ferment. So I'm curious, have you seen the episode where Hank brews his beer? How close do you think this is to Hank's recipe and process? Let us know in the comments.